Good afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Abroad While Black, the show that actually teaches you about people living abroad and their experiences, and hopes to encourage you to move abroad as well. We know that now Trump is leaving office, but even still, I don't think a lot has changed with the climate. Joe Biden has a lot to see. So if you've thought about living abroad in the past, we basically want to share some experiences with you to let you know that basically one, anyone can do it with a little bit of passion and hope. And two, there definitely are opportunities out there. So I'm Cordy Aziz. I'm the founder and executive director of Environment 360. I've lived in Ghana for the past 10 years, and I have with me my amazing co-host, Sean.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Again, I'm Sean. I'm the co-founder of Ingressive for Good, a company tasked with training 1 million African youth, deploying $1 million in scholarship funding and connecting them to 5,000 jobs. I'm also the CEO and founder of Burroughs Enterprises. We want to build an economic bridge between Africa and our diaspora. This week was very interesting. If we're just going to jump into this thing and kick it off.
So if you've never tuned in before, and you're thinking that Sean's introduction was an elevator pitch, it is. This isn't the first time. Look back at past videos, click around. Sean is doing his elevator pitch. So please, if you're in the diaspora, you're looking for business connections, please link up with burrowsenterprises.com.
Please do that. If you're looking at recycling stuff in Ghana, there's also Cordy. And if you want to educate it, anyway, let's just get back in here, because like what I was trying to do with my elevator pitch is I don't want to intimidate anybody. I don't want to make people feel some type of way with the weight of my greatness at this moment. So I just kind of, keep it simple. Keep it simple.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks. Don't let that ego blow you away. Don't let that ego blow you away.
Awesome. I'm just trying to get my Trump on, man. If I've learned anything from this week, Trump taught me, yes, I can. I can do anything I want. I can say anything I want. I could go anywhere, do anything, and play golf all day. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on. I'm so glad I left. Sweet Jesus, I'm glad I left.
I have to agree. And, I think we've had this conversation in the past. Yes, I think everyone is very glad to see Trump leaving. But the fact that nobody is over elated that Biden has been elected, that also is very telling of the times. I think this is a really critical moment because we'll really see if the Democrats are any better for Black people than the Republicans are. I have a theory, it's all the same. I just think that Black people just get caught up in the hype sometimes. So for me, I'm really interested to see what Biden does. They're hyping all these HBCU alumni and African diaspora that he has working for him on his planning commission and his planning team. But a plan is one thing, action is something else.
Yeah, and if you've watched House of Cards and you're a professional with government and politics things like I am, you know that sometimes when I get in office...
Wait. House of Cards makes you an expert?
Yes, I watched all 7 seasons. Thank you.
Wow.
But if you notice,
so what does that make those of us that have worked for Congress before? I'm just curious. If you've worked for Congress before, then what does that make us?
Arrogant, cocky. Sometimes they can be quite selfish, a little bougie, amongst other things. But
take it to our House of Cards expert, Sean.
You. All I'm saying is that those seats are time to owed for favors, some of those campaign donations, some of those different things that are. But to take it back a second, you said something really, really interesting. Like when you said that they're like the same party, and maybe it was about a week or two ago, right when it was kind of like we knew Biden was kind of winning, but he hasn't officially won, that type of thing, and it was just like I wasn't happy. I didn't have this like jubilous feel. I felt like I was supposed to be happy for Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, and I am in the deepest core. But it's like, as far as like a Biden ticket presidency, it didn't do anything for me. And what I mentioned is that it's like they say, if you want to boil a frog, you turn the water up slowly, and they'll never jump out. They'll just cook slowly to death. And I feel like that's what the Democratic Party does to Black Americans. In many different ways. And it's like, you're going to die either way. And what I could appreciate about Trump is we knew the damn water was hot. We knew.
I agree. Biden over here advocating for segregation 40 years ago, and all of a sudden it's kumbaya with Kamala, like in 2020 for the ticket. Like, and this also goes back to me, like, I feel like the Black community, I feel like whoever is socially engineering is like the creative genius of the world, because I think that, and I've said this before, they picked everything that Black people like with Kamala. HBCU, Divine Nine sorority, aka Skiwi, light skinned. This is what you need to be successful. This is
They did
what
the
you
paper
need
bag
to be successful with the Black vote. Like, this is what you
Now,
need.
you know what they did though? They really did put the cool auntie in as vice president. Like Kamala Harris is the cool auntie. Like you don't play with her because she's still your
Look at
auntie.
her prosecution record. I don't know what them folks gonna say she the cool auntie now. Her
I didn't even get
prosecution
into
record is not proper. She
I'm just
did
talking about
actually, she was a
yeah.
very aggressive prosecutor, particularly on Black men for very petty crimes. And that's why I said, like, when I look at this ticket, and I'm not knocking anybody who they love, my brother-in-law is white. I mean, be who you want to be. But I am one of those Black people. I feel like if you really, really about the cause, you need to marry brown. That's just me. That's just me.
You sound like Dr. Umar Johnson.
You can love who you want to. You can do what you want to do. Be who you want to be. But I think that also because I think that there's just some compromises that have to be given when you marry outside of your race. And I think that marriage in general is a compromise. I've been married for a little bit over a year now. It's never as rosy as it seems, but it's a great experience. But by all means, there are times where you have to compromise.
Wait, you said marriage like a great experience, like it's like a pair of shoes or something. Like you can just.
It is a pair of shoes. Some of us outgrow them, and some of them get the right size.
Truth. All right. It just got spicy.
And some of y'all got shoes too big for you.
And some of your shoes are too small, crunching up your toes. You
can't even get comfortable with who you want to be. And that's exactly what I feel like sometimes it's like when you really want to be pro-Black, but you're married to somebody outside of your race. Because let me tell you, one thing I've realized, and I say this time and time again, I'm gonna sound like that white guy. My best friends are Black, but some of my best friends are white. I come from a highly mixed family. My grandmother is mixed. When I tell you, most of my cousins have married outside of the race. Once again, my little sister is married outside of the race. But really, like I said, one thing that I've learned is that there is always going to be some compromise, and sort of you can't do everything all at once. And there is a certain amount of privilege, and a white person can never really understand everything about you, and they can't understand what you've been doing. And I think that they can empathize, like they can definitely cheerlead on. But I think that once again, they can't really ever support you. Like if something critical was happening with another white person, these are probably the people to try to talk you off the ledge at first, unless they really go hard in the paint. They're gonna be like, well, are you sure that was racism? I don't know if you've ever seen The Insecure, where what is Issa's best friend, you don't even watch this, but Issa's best friend is dating this Chinese dude, and she had this moment where they were on vacation in Mexico, and she felt like they didn't want to give her a towel because she was Black and they didn't think she was staying there. And then the brother was trying to reason that, no, it's just the rules. They don't give out towels unless you show your key. And she was like, you can say that because you're non-Black.
You can feel that way. You
and I mean,
have the ability. Yeah, you have the ability to have that, to access that mental space where you can make assumptions because it's always you from the outside looking in. For me, there are very, very, very spicy reasons I feel like I have to marry Black. But I also have to say that Black Americans need to realize you have a very unique experience, meaning there's not really going to be a lot of people who can identify with the Black American culture, but Black Americans, because there are so many things. It's such a complex relationship with our environment. with the outside world. Even me, like you're dating a Ghanaian, I'm dating a Nigerian, and it's just
I'm
some
not
things
dating
that
anymore,
just,
boo.
I'm
You
sorry,
put a
you
ring
married.
on it.
Well done, man. Well done, Ma. Well done. um, but I guess the general idea though is just that there are cultures. There's like I can say one thing from like Martin back in the day, like don't you know no good, and that alone is just funny by itself. And I can be here in my own relationship in the deepest recesses of cuddling, snuggling with the lights on in a movie, and don't you know no good is flat. It will never land. Jerome
Yeah,
Rome in the house
I do.
will
And
never
this just
land.
had me thinking, I think that we have to do another one of what it's like to really date or like marry or seriously date somebody from a different culture, because it is very different. And even my husband doesn't get everything. And it's actually, it annoys me. But I mean, when we first started dating, and even still occasionally, the way his friends were like, I don't know, she's Black American, you know, they're crazy. That one, I don't really know if it like the list of negative things that like they had to say about me behind my back, because they just feel like African Americans are so aggressive, and she, if something goes wrong, she's gonna be crazy. She's not gonna handle it in a respectful manner. So I do think, and that's why I said, like, I know that if we have it across cultures, by all
Wait,
means, it's across races.
wait. They're like, if you cheat and get caught, she not used to that life. She's not
They feel like
broken.
anything. And then even let me tell you, one of his friends that came to the wedding, they had never met me before. So they're like, oh, okay, I see she's not one of these African Americans that doesn't know what she's about, that's always hanging out in Osu. She knows where she's going.
Yeah.
Is this life? So once
Uh,
again, but it goes to show that if we have these challenges across culture, I mean, by all means, you have them across race. So I think it's really great that her husband is supportive. I think it's great that they call her, what is this, Momkala or whatever the nickname her stepdaughters have for her. But I mean, there's just a lot of for me, red flags about Kamala. But once again, she went to an HBCU. It's interesting that all of a sudden, though those of us who went to HBCUs, we know we got shady people at HBCUs. We raised some shady people, just like private white institutions raise shady people. And it's so interesting. I do have to love us, though. We will always support people from HBCUs.
True.
But I just feel like, I mean, we have to stop relating to people based on being people of color. And I think that as long as we vote on the fact that I feel like I can relate to them versus where they stand on party issues, Black people will always lose.
Yeah. But like I just saw what just happened to Trump. Like Trump is white Tupac. I don't care if I'm the only one who keeps saying it or I'm the only one who ever says it. Trump is white Tupac. They didn't care about what he did. They didn't care about what he vibed with. They didn't care about his policies. They just wanted some. I mean, actually, they did. He was speaking their language. They did vote for somebody who really just reflected the things that they tried to say behind closed doors. He got on the podium and said it. So like I do see the power in it, but like what you have to realize is that, and this is what I wrote in this long Twitter tirade, is that what Kamala Harris can be or should be is going to be wholly dependent upon what type of support we give her as her constituents. Trump was able to do a lot of different things because they knew that if they crossed that man or if they fell in a bad position with him, he's going to get them voted out of office because his base does what he says. Now, if we have that same type of rabid support, that same type of, hey, in the short term, whatever it is you used to do, whatever it is you used to be, you're in the office now and you're the best representative or you're the highest person that we have in there, you need to do what we need you to do. We also have to do our part. If any
Okay, but
person,
just a side note. Do you remember Javon that we knew in Mississippi? Do you remember
yeah,
Javon?
yeah,
You know Stacey Abrams is her cousin.
holy, they even
But
kind
they
of
look
look alike
alike
now
when you
that
think about it.
I think. Okay, these are some powerful people in that
Who?
network,
Now
and
you
I
see
love
Stacey
Stacey
Abrams,
Abrams.
exactly. You see,
They
this
knew
is who
not
would
to
have
make
been my
her.
VP. This would have
They
been
knew
my
not to make
VP.
her VP. No. Kamala Harris, both sides, they're like, we don't know, but we think she'll toe the line. Kamala Harris, I'm not gonna lie, which what you said feels correct. I feel like they felt like she will toe the line. And again, if we don't support her, she will have to toe the line. But on the other side,
Vice president don't do nothing. That's a ceremonial position. Vice president does nothing but show up from time to time and hope that the Speaker of Senate dies. I mean, they have no power.
Yes, but if she can move, let's say oddly enough, if she can move 50%.
She has no power. She has no power.
Because we realize, well, I guess we kind of realize the power dynamic in the role.
This is a ceremonial position. She has no power.
What it's going to do is make sure that Joe Biden will never die in the next 4 years, no matter what happens. That's one. But on the second side, you have to look at it. I don't know how close the Senate is, but her vote could be very instrumental to be a tie-breaking vote on the Senate. And again, if they know that she's going to be at the round table when all these powerful players or whatever, when all these key people are making certain decisions. So now she's able to contribute to those decisions with the understanding that what she says and that she's basically able, if she was to get 40% of us, she can move 5% of the population of the United States in one direction or the other, then she's going to have political power.
Let's just see what happens.
Well, I'm telling you, what's going to happen is if she does not have, again,
I see the House of Cards expert. I see the House of Cards expert is on it. Who am I to doubt you after 7 seasons of House of Cards? Who am I? Who
are you? Did you watch Trump? Trump don't know nothing. He can't be both an idiot and a political genius, but you saw what having the support of people can do for you at your base.
Once again, let's see what happens with Kamala. Let's see what's happening with Biden, and then I think we can take it up from there.
Sounds good.
I think we can take it up from there. But let's see, what happens with the Black Lives Matter movement. Let's see what happens with this student loan forgiveness. Let's see what happens with the advancement of people of color. Because you see, another thing with Kamala is that it's going to turn from Blacks to people of color.
Just lump them all together. We gave y'all of color
to see exactly what happens. But I'm not any optimistic. I still think that don't wait for the door to hit you in your backside. Still be proactive, still really be on your A game, still be looking at different options, because some of this damage has been done to America and its reputation. It's just not going to be easily corrected with Biden alone being president. Like, it's still a long reach for Americans. 14,000 COVID cases in some states in one day. This is just crazy. Like, it's ballistic right now. I don't think the reputations of even the fact that Biden didn't win by an immediate landslide. This is really indicative to the international world that Americans really may be the closed-minded bigots that they've always thought we were.
Wait, we are. I think everybody knows, and I think there's more bigots among them than we give credit for. One thing that I've seen with all of this, with all of the crazy things that have been going on, where the African continent especially is concerned, where I see how a country is doing it well or not, is the strength of the dollar. And the dollar has been growing. So for whatever we see going on the front end with this election, everybody's like, the stock market's going to dip. This is going to happen. That's going to happen. Trump's pulling people out of Afghanistan and Iraq and all this other stuff. But I'm making 3, 4, 5% on the dollars that I have in the bank every single month. The dollar is growing. America's economy is still
You're alive and cash out the dollars in my bank account either for that specific reason. The dollar is powerful. So, as much as we always love to talk about living abroad, we know that there are just some things we've also talked about. Living abroad is not as glamorous as people make it seem. Like, we were just talking about this, like, you have these YouTube fantasy life scammers, I like to refer them out, that like come out with these amazing YouTube videos of them in the market and them in their SUVs and them finding this perfect 4-bedroom house with the pool in the back and my house girl and everything that they need. And this is life on the continent. And womp, womp, womp. I don't know about your experience, Sean, but my experience has not been like that.
It's definitely not been like that. It definitely not. And it's really interesting that you mentioned this because I just stumbled across today this YouTube video where this Black lady, she's somewhere from the hood. She's definitely somewhere from the
They're
hood,
always from the
but
hood.
she
Mind you,
tore.
we ain't got nothing against the hood now.
No. But hood people are stubborn as hell. I know because I'm one of y'all. I'm one of us. So the thing is, she tore
I'm from
Ghana
Memphis.
apart. North.
Wait, was this the one that had the positive COVID test at the
I don't know.
airport, the portion? Okay.
No, I don't think it's this one. This one is just she lived there and she went on this like it was like a 30-minute tirade, and I watched every second. And when I say I got busy in that YouTube video comment section, I put in serious work. So like she just tore apart everything. She was talking about how like basically she went there, how she's living in an Airbnb. She moved there with her husband and her 4 children. They have 6 kids, so 2 more are coming. They're living in an Airbnb, paying $100 and something a day due to whatever it is they're trying to do. They're buying an SUV and renting it at $130 a day. And what else did she do? She had a dental office. She wanted to buy essential items for people and give it away. She was buying like tampons and different women's products and all these different things. And then she was just like everywhere she turned, people were trying to rip her off. They were trying to take advantage of her. She at one point in time she said like Africans are weak, like we need to come here and whatever. The Africans need Black Americans to come into the continent, and I was just like, you ratchet as hell. Number one, I can just tell the way that she came in, she was ratchet. She took every American idea and every African fantasy she had and tried to make it happen in a crowd. And that ain't how life works. You can't live life in your head. You got to live life in the real world. Number one. Number two, you have to realize if you're coming from the hood, you're coming from a far more aggressive environment where if somebody looks at you a certain way, you got to meet their gaze just to make sure they don't look at you like a sucker. They can come and just snatch your purse and you ain't going to do nothing. Right? So you take that and then you take it to Accra, where it's a community living, where basically you in a really, really big church. Just look at it that way, where you have to respect
Good
people.
analogy, though.
Excuse me. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me this, excuse me that, you know, pay certain deference to your elders. You know you're going to get taxed because you really can't say no to certain people just because of the situation, because you can't act out because you're in a certain place. You know they're going to pass the offering plate around 77 times and the benediction take 45 minutes. It is what it is. So now she moves here. You know what I'm saying? So now she moves here thinking she gonna operate like she in Compton or she in Southside Chicago somewhere with gunshots or whatever, and walk around with the same type of braggadocio, and the whole thing's gonna go the same, and people are gonna look out for her, and people are gonna embrace her and welcome her with open arms.
But one thing I got to say is if you can afford $100 a day for an SU or for an Airbnb, you should have stayed in America, boo.
Well,
that's like $3,000 in a month.
Man, she ridiculous. They said they save money for years, and I was like everything I said, and I was like,
you
I know
wasted it. They don't go back and. That's how folks go over here and get broke. And this brings me to some of the things that I miss about America. You see, in America, I think that I miss sometimes dealing with same Black people in America. You see, the thing is that when people move abroad, there are those of us that are sane, that like have our lives together, really are dedicated to building as part of the diaspora. Then we have these crazy Black people that you just mentioned. And people feel like because we're from the same country, we're part of the same tribe.
They messing it up for everybody. They messing up for all of us.
But I miss being able to find Black people that like are within my circle very easily. Right. And I think we've had to talk about this, about finding your tribe. Like Bakita talked about it on one of our first shows. Jennifer has talked about it. Like, I think one of the things I miss is that easily being able to find Black people that like I vibe with, that have my same interests and activities at the tip. Because I'm going to tell y'all, when you move abroad, it's not easy to find other Black people that like you just really click with. Like you might tolerate each other because y'all are both African Americans and you want like some part of your culture still. But let's be real, we know that if we was in the US, we probably would not be friends. I miss dealing with finding sane Black people.
I'd probably eat your lunch and take your milk money.
I mean, I probably would just be dodging your phone call. I probably would have you on the block list. I probably definitely would just be waving from afar. But like, because we're here in the same country, I mean, I need some sort of American head. Like I have to sort of be halfway cool with you because our quote unquote tribe is small. But I just feel like this is like, I miss being able to find my type of Black people.
I agree. I think I'll say this. I've been in Lagos now a little over 3 years. After a little over 3 years, I now have maybe two people. No, three people that are like, no, two people actually. Two people that I can say would have been my friends in the US and here. I have a lot of friends, but like you said, there's a lot of people that we wouldn't necessarily be friends in a different context because your type of friendship wouldn't necessarily be valuable to me. There are certain things that change in value when you move to a different country. You kind of need people for different reasons. And sometimes based on the different needs you have, you end up building different types of relationships you might not have encountered before. And if you have that, from this video, that video pissed me off. I'm sorry. But if you really do have that type of mentality, you're really going to cut yourself off from a lot of relationships that can turn out to be very beneficial for your survival, sustainability, and growth, especially living in a different country.
It is, but I feel like this is like, it's just not easy. I have a few girlfriends that I feel like, yes, like we're cool. I definitely enjoy being around y'all. It's everything. But I have to be very honest. I feel like I still haven't found my person. Like Sean is still my person, even though we don't live in the same country.
It's real though.
Sean is my person.
And vice versa. Like if you save jokes all day just to go and be like, hey, look what I saw.
I will be cracking up on WhatsApp. Like sometimes, like somebody be like, who are you talking to? I'm like, Sean.
See me laughing? Nobody in Ghana is hard with.
Like, is there somebody else that's this funny? That gets jokes?
Yeah, and I find out, and let's say this too, actually, so in Ghana and in Nigeria, there's more influence from the British culture. And in the British culture, they're the ones who kind of created like espionage and like in America where like, especially in Black culture, where you have that like, get 'em, like the UK British version of like, get them, give them is like, we're just not gonna talk to them. Everybody, don't say anything to this person, even when they talk to you. Mwah, mwah. Like that's how you like destroy somebody's life here. And I'm like, that's not even fun. And then when you start making jokes and start roasting people, like they'll laugh, but you still come across as like a mean person, like a really truly mean person.
And you know, this brings me to something else that I miss. I miss one thing about Americans. We're straightforward. Like
Exactly.
I miss people that are just like real and straightforward. Tell me yes, tell me no. Ignore me when you see me because you don't like me and you don't want to talk to me. Like I miss people that are just where you know you just don't vibe and like it's accepted by everybody. Like
you know,
I mean, this is a great thing because you see, I remember like living in DC particularly, like when you realize you don't vibe with somebody, like you could be at the club, a bar, whatever, like you would act like that person wasn't even there, like you've never seen them in your life.
Be gone, Negro.
Everybody's cool about it. Nobody expects you to play this passive aggressive, hey, how are you? Long time. Like I just miss the people that are just straightforward. Like I miss people that just tell you like, no, I'm not doing that. This is a dumb idea. Like you're pissing me off. Back up. Like I miss sometimes being in just a straightforward environment. And particularly, I think one thing about us as Americans is that we're really candid, and particularly Black Americans. And I think you
Yeah.
really have to like think through what you say before you say it to make sure like it's not too much.
That is being Black and American, like a microcosm. Like you're always second guessing. Like I know this is my reality, but can I really express it to you in all of its authenticity? Can I give you all of it, or do I have to like salt bathe the reality, give you just a little taste? Because like it's again, especially here, that British culture, or it doesn't matter where you're at. Like Black Americans, we feel like we've been through so much stuff that the only real thing that I have is to be able to speak my mind. That's what I got. I can't beat you. I can't. You got more resources. You got more money. You got more collectively as a people. But what I do got is you can't do nothing if I just say everything I ever thought about.
If I get up and cuss you out,
I got PTSD. Get off my back.
So I do miss being able just to be like really real and have those real conversations. And I know for me, I think this has also sometimes been an issue with forging friendships with people, because one thing I've noticed about Ghanaians is like, I mean, you can be doing something or feeling some way and they may not like the behavior at all, but they'll never tell you. So it's like they'll get together in their own circle and sort of be like, oh my God, this is, but like when you're out there, like, oh, okay, if that's what you, oh, okay, you go. Like they'll even be egging you on versus telling you like, girl, you making a fool of yourself, sit down.
It's like here, it's almost like Mean Girls a little bit. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, John, it is Mean Girls.
I've never seen this movie. I don't know, but like it's like Mean Girls from what I heard from the caption.
It's like a setup. Yeah, it's like they're setting you up. So you feel like they're like egging you to dance, and you're like, yeah. And deep down, they're like, look at them. Like, oh, should I get you another drink? And then like, she drinks too much.
Alcoholic. If anybody asks, she'll drink it. She'll take drink from anybody.
This is it. Oh, is that your natural hair? I wish I could do some, but then, like, but it looks nice on you. Meanwhile, they're like, she doesn't comb her hair.
That looks good on you. Like we do that. We do a little bit of that too, but like we still roast. Like anyway. But let me get into something I missed. And I realized I missed this going to one of the most glorious places inside of the Lagos, Nigeria. The place is called Silver Fox. What it made me realize that I missed almost more than anything is like old school hip hop and more trap music. Oh, I miss trap music. Oh, T.I., Jeezy, like 8 Ball, MJG, since we got some Memphis people here. Like,
John, you know what? I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. How about that joint? Because we getting old. When you can hear some good old Earth, Wind, and Fire, or Al Green, or Otis Redding, or Sam Cooke come across.
Wait. No, Cordy, don't do that. Don't do that. Because number one, you're right. But just what you're going to have to come to a realization is that Project Pat is our Al Green. Come into it. Outkast is our Earth, Wind, and Fire right now. Come into it. Lean into the light, Cordy. So yes, that's somebody else's generation. You can't just say I'm getting older, so I'm gonna transport myself back into some older music. No, your current music that you like right now on your iPod is oldies. It's oldies.
Okay, I can't even lie because I was just saying some of the songs I be singing to the little, I be like, don't put it in your mouth because it's dirty like the South.
Not Akinelli. Oh. But we know where it came from. But you always, but that's why I mentioned Outkast.
My like nuts, if you butt. Just you having an attitude.
I remember my cousin. She's like probably like 30 now. The baby song I used to sing her was like Slam. Slam. Da, 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 da. Try that one. Babies love that song. But anyway, these are oldies, Cordy. These are oldies now.
It's true.
And I miss
I
it.
even sing "There's some toys in this house. There's some toys in this house. If you see them, point them out. If you see them, point them out."
But you knew when these songs came on, it was about to get crazy. It was about to get
True.
ridiculous.
It's true.
What is another one? I'll take it forward a little bit. You probably left this. You left the hood. You left the scene when B4L was let me see your laffy taffy. Da, da, da,
Oh,
da.
boo.
Oh,
I was.
da, da, da.
You don't
Oh wait, you
ever
were still down with
discount.
slap music. I forgot. No,
Don't
you
ever
left.
discount. Don't ever discount where I came from.
No. I
When Laffy
forgot. It was
Taffy
after
came out, I
slap
was
music.
still on it. I was still on it when Laffy Taffy came out. And
Okay.
you see, I can't even mention his name, but you know, we got a mutual friend that you once caught me over his house on the slide.
I don't got no memories. I don't even know why you
Why I love
killing
you.
yourself.
This is why I love you. We can't mention his name because he'll probably tune in. And I mean, he's married now. He's got beautiful kids. But it was an inside joke because we used to mess around for the longest time and nobody knew. And one time I came into town and then Sean popped up at the house.
Like,
And I'm like,
what up, my Negro? Funny, glad to see you around here.
I was like, he's like, you know, Sean coming over. I was like, but anyways,
Yeah.
this is who we used to be. But during that time, Laffy Taffy was, I was cool still.
But no,
feel
what I'm
I
saying
fell
is
off a little
like,
bit
but
later.
no, but like, let me say this. The reason why I did that, because like trap music, like even if you go into that Lil Jon, like throw your hood up, like all this crazy stuff, it allowed you to kind of let go and release in a party-like environment. But when you have that British culture here, people are always going to be kind of poised. Even if they're doing their African dances, like everything is coordinated, it's on point, it's popping and stuff. But like crunk music, it was literally just throw yourself into somebody. So like, and not saying that that's what I want to do at this time, but I miss that energy, that raw, that like that raw energy. I miss it. I don't really
while
see it.
we're talking about energy, something else I miss: a good
Right?
happy hour. Now, if you've been singling and mingling for a while, you know happy hour is everything. Not only can you get cheap drinks, but you get cheap wings, cheap onion rings, cheap burgers, like cheap cheap spring rolls. You get cheap everything.
Cheap
I
happy
miss
ending.
a good
That
happy
after
hour.
work.
And then you know the
that
happy hour always transition into the I done had too many drinks and I'm gonna stay for this song, and then you end up coming home at midnight. I miss a good happy hour.
All the things that I love about happy hour, I don't even know if it's legal for me to mention. I know that
I got
I'm a
some great
better
happy hour stories about DC and Ozios. Like I've got some
man. I miss
magnificent stories.
Is Ozios even still open? I would go there
I think
like
Ozios
next
is
time.
still open.
Oh.
I've got some magnificent happy hour stories.
Okay. I just remember that's where I found my first love of a Cohiba, an amazing cigar. And that was a thing. Cohibas and Hennessy. Oh, we were ratchet. We were bougie ratchet. What do you call that? How do you put those together?
Bouge ghetto. You were bouge ghetto.
Yes. Well, no, I was ghetto G. I didn't have a lot of the bougie. It was just the G, maybe. It was baguette.
Did I turn you on to Ozios? I feel like I might have turned you on to Ozios.
You did.
Yeah. That seems like my thing.
Because I had just started to get my weight up. I had just started to be able to walk into Ozios and open up the menu and be like, oh, okay. You know, you called me about a good year before that. I'd have walked in like, oh, hell nah, Cordy, you must got this. You got this? You got this? You know what I'm doing right now.
One thing I can say though about being best friends about Sean is Sean does typically pay my way.
Every now and then. No, we had a good friendship. I didn't mind. I think I paid a lot of stuff out of respect. Because you've always been a real good friend. But like, yeah, we had a good balance. If not, because I duck people for that. You know that, right? If I go out with somebody and I feel like you just gonna assume, The audacity. I can and I will, but don't assume. Don't ever assume.
Never assume. Another thing I think I really miss about the US is being able to go and watch like football games on Sunday at the bar, or like just like Super
Sports.
Bowl parties and like
Yeah.
all-star parties and like what is
Boxing
this,
part, boxing
NBA? Like I
pay-per-view part.
miss this.
Yeah. Boxing as well. And then here, like everybody watches football. And like football was like I even used to play, but it just wasn't as serious. And then you realize why
But you
soccer's
have to
played everywhere in
clarify
the
for
world.
our Americans that are thinking football and football. Football is soccer. We're here for you.
Everywhere else in the world, football is a game you play with that white and black checkered ball, and you use your feet and not your hands.
But still,
America,
but I
the
miss
home of
NFL,
yes, I
Super
was gonna
Bowl
say
parties.
exactly.
Even just watching a game Sunday at somebody's house.
Do you miss Super Bowl snacks? Because as soon as you said Super Bowl, the first thing I
Who
thought of
doesn't
was the
miss
cheese.
nachos? Who doesn't miss a
Oh,
great nacho?
oh man, with some Doritos. Oh,
Who-
yeah,
I'm not gonna
it
go
gets
that
hard.
far, but Rotel dip. Who doesn't miss it?
That's what I'm talking about. Rotel dip with Doritos. You ain't never did that?
That's not my thing. That's a little bit too deep in the ghetto for me, but that's cool if you did it. I'm sure a lot of other people can explain with that experience. And you know what I'm thinking that I know you miss, Sean, that you ain't been up as part of your Super Bowl snacks?
What's this?
That ranch dressing. Let's talk about how you just be fiending for ranch.
Oh, I went to 3 grocery stores
I'm
last
not even
Tuesday.
gonna talk about how your hand just shook a little bit.
My whole body shook. I'm still going through withdrawal. I went to 3 grocery stores 2 days ago. When I buy ranch dressing, I gotta buy like 3 or 4 bottles a time because it doesn't come in as often. If you see Hidden Valley Ranch, Hidden Valley, buy all. Ask them if they got more in the back. You buy it by the case. Seriously, if anybody's coming in this town to visit me, you bring ranch. Ask me what I want. Don't ask me. Bring ranch. Bring ranch. I can find Sweet Baby Ray's. Sweet Baby Ray's is not that hard to find. So like, when I'm really getting to like we ain't got no ranch. Sweet Baby Ray's is like methadone for a heroin addict, right? I can manage. But ain't nothing like ranch. And it's just not as popular. It's just not as popular.
And
What is the condiment? What is a condiment you miss? Because there's that sweet chilies. I can't remember who made it, but the sweet chili sauce. But you can still find those type of. What do you miss?
I miss bottomless mimosas. Is that a condiment?
You need to come to Lagos, Cordy. The more we talk, the more I keep thinking like you might be in the wrong city. Cause like
I'm gonna still a weekend away in the new year. The little will be one. I'm turning 40, y'all. Okay, y'all, I'm turning 40 in like 45 days.
God damn. Yeah. Oh, and you don't eat. I would have said 27 at the highest.
Okay. You're such a hater, Sean.
No,
you know you're right behind. Thanks for that. I did be popping. I did have to tell somebody though today. They're like, you should be lucky that you're not 40 because then there's a spread. I was like, I turned 40 in like 30 days. Like,
Did you give for their disrespect? Man, look, this world's a beautiful place. Like I'm really glad. Like, so a lot of people said like you need to have children early and all this different stuff. I feel like I'm like sliding into my like space. Cause like I don't know if I was the type of person that should have been around.
I'm so grateful I had my daughter at 39 and my next one probably about 41. I just think having children later in life is such a blessing for so many reasons. Not to knock anybody that did it young, because I feel like you either get it out of the way early and you enjoy the latter half of your life, or you enjoy the first half of your life and you raise children the latter half of your life. That's just, for me though, and what I have done and what I've experienced, I'm happy that I lived my life to the fullest before I had children, because I don't even mind not doing stuff right now. I'm like, I'm good. I've been there. I've done that.
I feel like I need a child to keep me out the strip club. I'm just joking.
Ronke girl.
Who do you think my buddy is? We didn't know together.
This is your man.
This is how you know. Get the person that you can be with. We in there together. Like, together.
Oh my God, the way you just disgraced her in all of Nigeria.
I've only been twice in my entire life, and they played trap music, and that's the only place that they play trap music. So I don't care if they had strippers with no nipples. I would just love the music. I just love the music, and that's where I go. I went there last
Do you miss the
Friday.
strip clubs in the US, Sean? Do you miss the strip clubs in the US? That pole action?
I think that it's like going to the one here made me miss the entire environment in the US because like the strip club encapsulates the trap music lifestyle. Like you don't gotta sell drugs, you don't gotta do all this crazy stuff. But once you go into the strip club and you start, you start making it rain a couple of times, you feel like you're part of the rap music video. And then you go home and live your normal life. You go home and be an accountant in the morning, flip burgers, whatever it is you do. But for one night, you was Tony Montana, right? That's how I feel. So, it was just like, but there's different elements of it. There's different layers. Again, I'm just taking it back to missing trap music, but there was just different clubs where people kind of let go. People like to dance and different stuff like that. The slow thing where you kind of grind up on them a little bit. That don't happen here. I don't see that.
Okay, I don't really know about that. Little known fact about me, I've actually never really been to a strip club outside. Oh wait, maybe I'm lying. Okay, I feel like I did go to actually one with you guys one time. Okay, maybe it's a lie. Okay, well, I mean, it doesn't make a difference.
You ain't got a lie to kick it, Cordy. You ain't got a lie to kick it.
I had to think back. Okay, maybe I have.
I'm not gonna put you out there, but my face gonna put you out there.
Maybe I have. Something else I think that I really miss about America is, I mean, I can do it in small doses, but I do miss some of that junk food. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I miss that junk food.
America's frying Snickers and frying Oreos and frying America's next level with the junk
on every corner. Zebra cakes, oatmeal cakes, apple pie, Cinnabon.
Oh, Cinnabons. Ooh, I ain't had a Cinnabon in 10 years. Oh,
the way I tore them up the week before I knew I was coming back to Ghana, I ordered a 6-pack, a half dozen of regular and pecan and caramel.
You know what? You know what you just reminded me of?
Nobody else get none.
Ooh, you know what you reminded me of? Wait, are you talking about Cinnabons, the one that come in the little pack? Or are you talking about like actual?
Cinnabon from Cinnabon.
Oh, you did it. Okay, because I was just about to say that I missed. Do you remember when you got those Pillsbury dough joints where like you would open them joints
up? At home. No, I went to the fancy Cinnabons.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
This also brings me something else that I really miss is being able just to readily shop. In case you don't know, shopping on the continent is difficult. Most of the clothes are secondhand. Those that aren't secondhand are super duper expensive sometimes, and the quality is super low. I think this is why I know I gravitate to getting my clothes made. Sean, I think you're the same way as well.
Everything.
Shopping, like I just miss being able to I have an event tonight. Like I need to go pick up something real quick and knowing the 2 or 3 stores I'm gonna go to and I know I'm gonna find something.
I miss Marshalls and Ross. I miss going into Marshalls on a random day and seeing some 98 Barry Sanders in the corner. Just like nobody recognizes how classic these shoes are. I saw the Pippins one time. It's just of course one shoe is bigger than the other one, but you gotta do what you gotta do for $19.99. I do miss just finding gems, like going there, being able to create your own style, finding different types of we don't have in the US, I think, is quality clothing at that middle price range.
That's it. Yeah. Finding that great dress for $30.
Yeah, not everybody's buying Birkin bags, right? So there's that middle area that I do miss. And now what I felt, but again, with the pricing and everything, if you're living let's say in a Lagos or a Ghana, and you're making USD, then technically it becomes really affordable just to have your clothes handmade. That same dress that you spend $30 for, you can have somebody make like maybe, well, it's still going to be about $30, but it's handmade.
But I feel like, okay, so for me, the work is not that expensive. So, I mean, the actual work to make something is maybe about, maybe let's say $12, but the fabric is what's going to hit you.
Also true. Also true. True.
The fabric, like getting a good quality fabric, you're probably going to spend, I mean, it just really depends because you need anywhere from 4 to 6 yards. I mean, but even still, I mean, it just depends once again on you and how you sort of operate. You can buy cheaper fabrics. I always choose to buy a higher quality fabric because I know that it'll last forever. But this brings me up to something else. As I'm talking about things that are overpriced, because I go pick up our Christmas tree tomorrow. So I'm paying 1,000 Ghana cedis for my Christmas tree with the ornaments. Now, some of y'all are like 1,000 Ghana cedis. Let me do the translation for you. This is maybe about $200. I'm sure some of y'all are like, who the hell spends $200 on a 5-foot, 8-inch Christmas tree? Christmas trees are expensive as shit over
here. Because there's not even, they don't even have snow. Like, what do you, like, you don't, there's no Christmas in Ghana. It's just a holiday.
If you want to buy a Christmas tree, it's like 1,300 Ghana cedis. And this brings me to my other holiday that I missed. I was home last year for it, but couldn't drink. Thanksgiving. Y'all about to tear down. Well, COVID may break y'all Thanksgiving up this year, but Thanksgiving is my
Mine is back to back with, okay, the reason why I like this holiday, I'm only gonna say why if you ask me, but Halloween and Thanksgiving.
Halloween too. Oh, this reminds me, remember the time we got so super trashed and went down to U Street?
God, Cordy.
And I was dressed as Robin Hood and you were the and you were,
I was
and you were in the prison. I mean, yes. And there was that girl slipped on that pizza.
Oh, I forgot about that. Oh my God. If you saw somebody do a cartwheel in the air off a jumbo slice. Also, I miss jumbo slice. I miss jumbo slice. Let me say this. I have to say this because this is one of the most glorious nights of my entire life, Cordy. And I will say this. If anybody remembers the Lil Wayne song, Mrs. Officer. Mrs. Officer, Mrs. This is that Halloween. Everybody, every woman. Let me tell you this one. Let me do that. Let me finish this, Cordy. Let me finish the fantasy. If you saw 5 women, 3 of them were dressed up like a slutty police officer. And here comes Sean mother-loving Burroughs dressed like a convict. God, it was beautiful. It was a setup. It was a setup of all setups. I miss
Meanwhile, I wanted sexy Robin Hood because I had my game right. So I wasn't going to be like all these other simpletons.
Yes. Because it did get kind of like repetitive. Because I'm like, get back, wench. Get off me. Yes, I'm a convict. No, you can't play with my handcuffs. Like, it got aggressive. But it was a fun day.
But let's just talk about in general. I miss DC. I love DC. So DC was the last place I lived before I moved out of the country. DC is also DC is the longest place I've lived in my life outside of Ghana as an adult. Okay. I lived in DC for about 6 years. I love DC.
I love DC. I'll give you that one. Chocolate City.
I miss DC. I miss going to Cherry Blossom Festival. I miss the Smithsonian. I miss hitting the club up. My cousins own some clubs in DC. Yeah. I miss hitting the club.
Shout out to Hakeem.
I miss my cousins. Yeah. Like, I miss DC.
Yeah. I love DC. I love DC. It opened my mind to so many different things. Like, you have African ancestry, but it was DC that introduced me to African culture by far and large.
My family introduced Sean to African culture.
It was your family because of yes. But the thing was, like, it was my moving to DC. I would have never met them if I didn't move to DC. So it was moving to DC.
Let's go a little bit deeper. Who moved to DC before you moved to DC?
Cordy, if you go back and check all of our previous episodes, I have admitted unshamelessly that I followed you around for for a while now. It was like we were like really close friends before you started moving and jumping around. So like we already had a similar mindset. So like now when you jump somewhere and you go out there, I was like, I ain't gonna run out there like no fool. And then you run out there like, oh, it's cool, come on. I'd be like, all right, cool, I'm coming. You gotta understand, when it comes to like going to new places and stuff like that, women will have an easier go than men. Because men is always extra. If you come in there and you're somewhere new and you're a man, it's like, what did you bring to be here? It's literally that.
There's some truth in that. There's some truth. I think this is why women are actually leading the call to really move abroad. Like if you notice, a lot of the people out here doing YouTube videos and doing other things, women are really being the ones that are like, look, let me go out here and see what's happening and popping, and really bringing others over too.
It's true. Like a bunch of brave, beautiful, strong Black women coming up with their whole entire families. Again, if you go back and look at some of the interviews we've done, Jennifer's one in particular that kind of sticks out because Jennifer's like my homie. Jennifer is the homie. She is everything I was talking about before, but she found a way to amend and fit in and do her thing. But yeah, that's a strong personality as well.
It is. I love Jennifer too because she's real.
Yeah.
She just gonna keep it real. She is who she is. Just in case y'all wonder who Jennifer is, check back on our episode, Parenting While Abroad. Amazing. She has a company here in Ghana that basically does event planning, mainly for mines and then boxing as well. But she basically has 2 children here, and then she has 2 children in the US. But I mean, just a great story and just all the way around genuine, authentic person, just real to who she is and real to her people that like are in her circle.
Yeah. It's FUBU or BUFU by us.
You know, 100%.
So
while we talking about cities though, let me tell you something else I missed.
I was about to jump into another city too, but go ahead.
Okay.
Take another. Or can I go?
MIA. Miami.
I'm too blue collar for Miami. What you miss about Miami?
I love Miami. So before I left the US, like Miami was becoming an annual stop for me. I love Miami. I love everything about the vibe, the strip. Like I love everything about Miami. The beach, the seafood, the lobster, mangoes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I love Miami. The shopping, I love Miami.
I'm gonna tell you this: if you go into Miami, have your paper right. Have your paper right.
I love Miami.
You did. Let me take you to my city though. The city that struck me like none other. Summertime Chicago. Kanye was not lying. Summertime Chi is lit. Festivals, parties, nightclubs, like, and then you have like
the festivals are cool. The barbecue festival's off the chain. 4th of July is off the chain. Navy Pier particularly off the chain.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say 4th of July is a murderous day. Like 100 people get killed every time. I usually don't go outside on 4th of July. Like early. I go out early.
You know, both of my sisters live in Chicago. My sister's husband is straight from Chicago. So, you know, I'm Chicagoed out. It ain't for me. But people love Chicago.
No, come on now. So in the
I'm
summertime.
From Illinois. I'm from Illinois. So any place in Illinois.
You're not from Chicago. Okay, you never got respect because you from Peoria. I get it now. I get it.
Peoria go hard out here. In case you don't know about the P, Richard Pryor is from the P. Katie Bates is from the P. Don't underestimate.
Set himself on fire. Anyway, he's a okay. I can't go at Richard Pryor just to make fun.
This is how haters do. This is how haters.
I was gonna do it. I noticed it. I pulled back. I was like,
see somebody that's from a place that has brown water flowing out the tap. Got the nerve to fix their mouth about Peoria.
wait. Where are you talking about? I'm a military brat. I've lived in different places. Now, when I moved
Like you
to
don't know about
Goshen,
Goshen, Mississippi.
Mississippi, when I moved to Goshen, Mississippi, and I turned the water on, we had just moved there. I turned the water on and I walked out to go do something, and I came back in and my brother was in the bathroom. And I looked at the water and I looked at my brother and I slapped him in the back of the head. And I was like, why'd you take a bath in my water? I was running that for me. And then he was like, I never touched the water. And I was like, oh, so the water comes out looking like dirty bath water before you make it.
I remember the first time I went home with Sean and I was like, the water's brown? Like that's
like,
that's just how it is.
It builds character.
I does. Okay, let me tell you something else I missed though while we talk about Mississippi.
Okay.
Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
The sonic boom of this?
Yay! S U J S U rocks the house. And I miss homecoming.
Oh my God.
Homecoming. I miss homecoming.
Capital City Classic. Woo!
Homecoming for me each and every time. I miss homecoming.
Well, homecoming is a whole week, but yeah.
I miss homecoming. So, yeah,
I've done homecoming. Do you remember? Do you remember all the people I know? Do you remember our homecoming tradition that we had when we were still going? And then when I came back to visit, we would buy, however many people there were, we would buy a certain amount of alcohol in proportion to the people there. And come rain, sunshine, sleet, hail, whatever, you have to finish that alcohol before you leave.
Drink it. I miss homecoming. I miss seeing the Sonic Boom. I miss seeing the J Sets. I miss like the place being.
I do miss Freelines. Come on now.
I miss homecoming. The small consolation I have this year is ain't nobody experiencing homecoming.
Not a soul. Homecoming gonna be online.
You like, yeah, that's right. Cancel it for everybody.
If I can't have none, can't nobody have none. Yeah.
I miss homecoming. Totally. I mean, but I feel like, these are definitely like critical things that like people never really talk about, but undoubtedly you can't always love everything about your new country and you're just going to miss things about home.
Yeah, it's true.
What else you got there, Sean? I saw your old church finger.
I know we about to wrap this up, but I had to take it back to the Kojic Baptist Church for this one. What I miss is being able to walk in with a deck of cards or a box of dominoes and everybody get excited at first, but then give you that look of, you know what you about to do, don't you, boy? Like, you know what you just, it's like when you take out that box or that box of dominoes, it's like you just slap somebody. You're just like, oh, pow, like I challenge you to a duel. I miss that. I miss that.
Sean, I do too. You know what, Sean, though, this conversation has convinced me. I'm definitely coming to spend a weekend in Lagos in 2021, maybe 4 days. I'm going to do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to wake up early Monday morning and take the flight back. I'm going to reminisce. We're going to play dominoes, Sean.
Yep.
And we're going to play trap music. And you're going to give me those dry ass jokes that I laugh at just because I'm your friend and I know you need
it. That's what friends are for, Cordy.
That's what friends are for. That's what friends are for. And I'm here for you.
In the good times.
So we talked about like all of the things that we miss, but like, how do you feel like you cope with this? Like, I feel like when I just sort of miss something, like I just try to remind myself of all of the great things that I have now.
Yeah, I think that what I balance it with now is that I found some really cool new things to like. And now I'm way more business minded than I was before. And I found a career and a path doing something that I love. So like that in many ways, like building my own business. Like I'm such a nerd, doing tweaks on my website, like, oh, I just uploaded a new this. Oh, I got this embedded into the website now. Like these are the type of things that I get geeked about. But definitely life is different. I chalked it up to I'm getting more mature. But I think now that you mentioned it's just I don't have access to these things. Because the way I missed it, I don't feel like I'm that much mature anymore. I really don't.
And you know what? Like, I think that you hacked it. I do think that moving, like those people that choose to take the journey to move to the continent and that are very serious about it, I do think that your priorities change. And I do think that it either brings out your grind or like you just flop. Like, I think that it brings out a completely different side of you. And I've often said this, like, I think people that choose to immigrate, regardless of where you immigrate, so we chose West Africa, but regardless if it's Europe, regardless if it's Asia, regardless if it's South America, and I think you see the same with immigrants in America. I think that there's something about changing your environment that's either really going to ignite something underneath you to be really dedicated to succeeding, or once again, you're going to come piddle around for a few years, have a good time, and then go back.
Let me mention this. You're absolutely correct. There was this guy also that I was denigrating in my in the comment section. I made a comment. He just started talking. He just never reached out again. Come to find out, he was cool. He lost his account. But this is one of these guys. And I have two other stories of people who actually came here and failed, but not failed because they weren't smart, they weren't sharp, or different things. Just things didn't work out. But what I typically find is those people, some of those sharp people that come here and fail, the way they go back to, they actually they've learned how to business and do so many more things with less. They've learned how to kind of break down different things, because you do have to break down different things here. When you're trying to understand how to do business differently, it forces you to push things into pieces and kind of really analyze how you do stuff. That's one thing I really wanted to bring up. People do tend to go back to the US and do better.
I actually agree. And I think we talked about this as well. And I think we both had this mindset when we moved out here that really the worst thing that can happen is that you get 2 or 3 years of international experience and you put it on your CV.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing that can happen, right?
Exactly. You can come here, you can get a bigger, better position, bigger, better title, add that to your experience, and actually go back to the US and get like a 6-figure, not 7, I don't know about 7, but you can get a way better job. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now if I go back to the US, I have 5 years of being a CEO, and then now being a COO of a multinational company now. There's like, I can start writing my check when I go back to the US. I just don't want to go.
I agree. And I mean, even my personal experience, for those of you who don't know, I basically bought community recycling to Ghana. So before I came, there was like no recycling at all. And what I've learned is like, people really look at me as a global expert. So even recently, a UN program reached out to me to put me on a leadership team. And it's interesting, like, to decide an action plan for circularity. And it's so interesting because like I'm on like the leadership team with the environment minister from Chile. Like, do you think like if I was in the US, like, and sometimes I was telling my husband, like, sometimes it's so interesting to me because I realized that like moving abroad has given me like a global reach. So I might have had like a national reach in the US. So people might have known like who I was within the US. But in Ghana, like people all through Europe know me, because mind you, how I even got on here is someone from the Netherlands was like, you have to have Courtney on this particular thing. Like she like is the go-to person. And mind you, I'm based in Ghana and I come from the US. So for me being able to see that my expertise is appreciated globally, I mean, that's just like a whole other game changer for me, right?
Exactly.
Like I'd have never thought that when I was leaving the country that like I would be like a global expert on waste management and circularity.
It's crazy. Like just last shameless plug, but with Ingressive for Good, like we run a tech program. We run one of the biggest tech programs in the hub city of Nigeria. So like maybe like this is like pre-COVID, but Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, basically came here to visit. Now Jack Dorsey is in our network of people that's looking like we're talking to him about like how we're going to launch programs, tech programs within the continent. This is one of the richest humans on the earth. It's like I had to go to here to get those type of contacts. It's like ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's just amazing. So, I mean, as much as I miss everything back home, I have like, if I tell you I don't have a magnificent life, and I was even just telling my friends like how I'm so blessed. We talked about, having children later in life, but even the fact that like I have an amazing, amazing nanny that really makes my whole life capable. Like that makes everything that I do possible at this particular moment. Like my daughter absolutely adores her. I often say this is her best friend. Like it's even to the point if she doesn't see her for a while, she will crawl to her room to see if she's there. But I mean, these are things that once again, if I was living in the US, I would probably be overwhelmed, like as a working mother, trying to figure out how I do it all and what I have to sacrifice. And here, I don't have to give anything up. Like I can be a mom, I can be a CEO, I can be a consultant, I can travel the world, I can do talk speaking. Like I don't have to give up anything else. So as much as I may miss Thanksgiving and happy hour and I mean Super Bowl, I feel like the life I'm going and what I'm building now will definitely compensate for those small little things.
Exactly. Maybe I need to stay up a little bit longer or something. But now we can find a way to manage because like it's just the potential, the ceiling, it just blew the ceiling off what I was capable of doing by moving here. Just hands
I
down.
agree. And I think something else, like maybe we should have this in the conversation, because like you said, we're wrapping up, but something else I think people don't like really realize is that I think that if you can find the confidence and the courage to move abroad, like I think it brings out a whole other level of like hustle. I think it brings out a whole other aspect of what you define as success and how you reach that success. And I think that that's a conversation that we can definitely save for another day, because I mean, there's so many different facets of I mean, living abroad. And I mean, thank you once again for tuning into Abroad While Black. I think keep in mind, watch your YouTube videos, but try to get people that are just going to be real with you. It's not easy. It's going to be a lot of struggle moments. Sean and I, maybe we should even do an episode of like your biggest struggle moments, like moving. Because y'all, when I tell you I got struggle stories about Ghana, I got struggle stories. And it's so interesting because I say this because people move here like Black Americans and they're like, yeah, she's doing so well and she's got everything together. Like if y'all knew how many years I struggled, I didn't even hit until I lived here for like 5 or 6 years. So I think that like it's benefiting showing y'all the good, the bad, the ugly, but I mean also how it can really turn out if you're really dedicated to improving and living a better life here on the continent or wherever in the world you choose is best for you. But this is Abroad While Black, sharing stories of people from the diaspora as well as our own experiences. I'm Cordy Aziz, founder and executive director of Environment 360. I've lived in Ghana for 10 years.
And my name is Sean Burrows. I am the CEO and co-founder of Ingressive for Good and Burrows Enterprises. I've been in Nigeria now for 3 years, and I was in Ghana for 3 years. Great times. Like Cordy said, please go to our YouTube channel on Abroad While Black. Check out some of the previous series to kind of get caught up. So now you can get some of our inside jokes we'll be dropping with people. Please check out our business sites as well. We're always looking for ways to create business and work out different things that are mutually beneficial for a lot of members. Even if it's not for us, maybe we can connect you to somebody inside the community. Sure. So look for Abroad While Black alumni. One of our staff members actually shopped that idea around. So we'll be playing around with that in the future as well.
I like that. That's sexy.
Yeah, real
That's
sexy.
A great idea.
So yeah, so reach out. For my site, it's you can check out the Facebook channel. I mean, again, it's Abroad While Black. You can go to www.burrowsenterprises.com. We'll leave it in the link. Cordy, where's your information? Where can they find you if they're interested in the business part?
You can hit me at Bolabel on Instagram, as well as Gone Ghana on Twitter, but I really don't check Twitter. The best way is always just to email me, cordy.aziz@gmail.com, or to reach me through the Abroad While Black page. I do have a website as well, but I'm working on it, putting on some final touches, so hopefully I should be done in the next 2 weeks. And then you'll be able to reach me at ckan.com, CKAN.com.
Awesome. And with that being said, we're going to wrap it up for the week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Remember, you're going to come at, I know the Nigeria time, you're going to help me with the rest of them. So Nigerian time is going to be 8 p.m. Watt. Ghana time is going to be 7 p.m. And what time will it be in the U.S. and China and Afghanistan?
That's Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time is going to be 4 p.m. China, that's like 12 hours ahead. So that's going to be like 7 a.m. You see another thing, living abroad, you get them time zones and that foreign currency down. Like it's just like second nature, it just flow. So we look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you once again. Tell a friend, hop on the YouTube, share the YouTube page, subscribe to it. Really, once again, this is about giving the real story, the good, the bad, the ugly, not some glamorous, I'm in the market in my 4x4 today. So definitely share it out, learn something. And we hope that many of you, decide to make the move. And don't get so complacent in thinking that because you got Biden, like all of a sudden America is great again.
Boiling frogs. All right. Namaste.
Peace out. See you next time.